They say you should never meet your heroes, but I think when it comes to Keanu Reeves, that really doesn't apply. Because there are so many stories of the K-Man being amazing to people, it's hard to believe he's even of this earth. I decided to take a closer look at how Keanu Reeves is like the best person in the world. Okay, for starters, the man is respectful to women. In 2019, photos of Keanu posing with female fans went viral on Twitter, and for an awesome reason. It was pointed out that when he takes a pic with any female fan, he won't rest his hand on their shoulder or any part of their body for that matter. Instead, he holds his hand a few inches away from them so they don't feel like their space is being invaded. Now, this kind of thing is usually seen as something done by like nerdy guys or guys without enough confidence to interact with a woman. And yeah, that might be true sometimes, but clearly a handsome movie star does not have that issue. Keanu is just flat out considerate, you guys. He doesn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, especially when they're meeting someone who they probably look up to. The phrase respectful king was soon tossed around Twitter as more and more photos like this popped up. Hey, speaking of respect, we'd give you crazy amounts of it if you hit that subscribe button. Keanu's not only nice to individual fans in photos, he's also nice to them in big groups. For example, remember when your aunt sent you a text that read, "The guy from The Matrix just arranged a bus ride for us to LA," and you were like, "What?" Okay, so that probably didn't happen to you specifically, but I bet somebody's aunt sent them that in March of 2019 because Keanu was on a flight from San Francisco to LA that had to make an emergency landing. They touched down in Bakersfield, California, and everyone was just pretty much stranded. Enter Keanu. He decided he would just John Wick the thing and take charge, without any of the killing, naturally. After agreeing to take photos with people at the Bakersfield airport and chat with everybody a bit, he helped arrange mini-buses to drive everyone from Bakersfield to Los Angeles. And he didn't just rent his own car or get a private jet or anything either. Instead, he hopped on one of the buses and drove the rest of the way with a bunch of his fellow passengers. And if you're thinking he probably just popped in some earbuds or took a nap so no one would bother him, then you don't know Keanu, my friend. He started by playing some gentle country tunes on his phone, hoping they would calm anybody down who was still feeling anxious about the flight. Then he started pulling up facts on his phone about each town they went past and reading them out loud, like the most lovable tour guide of all time.
I think it's fun. Again, I think that's fun.
He's not just kind in emergency van rides and photos either. Our respectful king is also a charitable king because he donates a ton of money to charities, and apparently he usually does it in secret, so we probably don't even know the half of it.
Are you ready to be known, Keanu Reeves?
Absolutely not.
There was one report that he had donated $31.5 million to cancer research one time, which was 70% of his earnings from The Matrix. His publicist ended up denying that story, but honestly, that might just be his team trying to keep his charitable giving out of the spotlight. Either way, we do know about plenty of places he's helped out with money, appearances, and stuff like that. One time, he even admitted that he has a private foundation, which he started around 2003, that helps cancer research and children's hospitals. He also admitted that he's never attached his name to it, so it can just do its job without being pestered by the media. He's donated to SCORE, which is an organization that helps hockey players who suffer spinal injuries. And he put his body where his money was when he agreed to play goalie in a charity hockey game for the foundation. And don't worry, Keanu played that position in high school, so he wasn't totally lost. And while he might not attach his name to some of his giving, he also knows he can use his famous face to help out too, like when he manned the phones at a telethon for cancer research. When he's not giving his time and money to charities, he's giving incredibly generous rap gifts to the crews, and especially his stunt actors, of his movies. Like he gave custom Rolexes to the stunt team for John Wick 4, baller. And he got Harley Davidsons for the stuntmen from The Matrix Reloaded. And he sent expensive champagne to literally everyone who worked on the first 3 Matrix movies after the 3rd one was done. And he's also worked stuff into his actual contracts just to be kind. Like he took a pay cut on the movie Devil's Advocate, underrated, check it out, so they could afford to hire Al Pacino. Not that Al needed the money, but Keanu thought it would be a better movie with him. And he apparently also gave up points on the back end, which is movie talk for a share of the profits, on the sequels to The Matrix, so that the unsung heroes like the visual effects folks and the costume people could make more. That's a pretty huge gesture.
There's so many people working who're so talented to create this world.
He's also known for smaller gestures. In 2015, a video popped up on YouTube showing Keanu giving up his seat on the New York subway to a woman he noticed was carrying a heavy bag. She took him up on the offer. Suddenly, an announcement came over the speakers that the train had to stay above 50 miles an hour or it would explode. Okay, fine, that part isn't true. But the other stuff is, that simple gesture, plus maybe the fact that people found it wild he was riding the subway instead of a taxi or limo, made the video go viral, and more than 40 million people have watched it. It wasn't all that amazing of an act, to be fair, but it's just a cool reminder of how down-to-earth and caring Keanu is.
We can change lives. We can help.
It also started a string of people sharing their personal stories of interacting with Keanu, and each one was some variation of meeting him and him being incredibly nice, or like being too shy to talk to him but having him notice and start the convo himself, stuff like that. In fact, another story that went viral in a tweet thread in 2019 had a similar vibe. A writer and producer named James Dator posted a story that happened when he was a teen. He was working at a movie theater in Sydney, Australia at the time. As he sat in the ticket booth, up walked Keanu in a cool jacket and a helmet that looked like he got off a horse recently. I have no idea why Reeves was rocking that particular look, but he's Keanu and he can wear what he flippin' wants, you guys.
You do what you want, you're Keanu Reeves. Jesus.
Anyway, James recognized him immediately and, like a normal 16-year-old meeting a celeb, got kinda tongue-tied. He desperately wanted to think of a way to ask Keanu for his autograph, but he couldn't find the nerve. Suddenly it hit him. He would offer Keanu his employee discount, and to do that, he would need Keanu to sign the official sheet. But Keanu was like, yeah, no worries, mate, I don't work here, I'll just pay full price. So he bought a ticket and went in. Jason was bummed. A few minutes later, he heard a knock on his door. Keanu was back. He told Jason he realized he probably only just wanted his autograph. So Keanu handed him a receipt that he'd gotten at the concession stand and signed it for him. Then he threw away the ice cream he'd bought and went to go see the movie. In other words, Keanu literally bought ice cream just to have a piece of paper to sign for young Jason. I mean, who does that? A living angel, that's who. And that angel is also a man of his word. I know, shocking. In August of 2022, he was in the UK, staying at a hotel in Northamptonshire. And while that sounds like a town I just made up, it's real. It just so happened there was a wedding going on while he was there. A couple, James and Nikki Roadnight, noticed Keanu at the bar of the Fawsley Hall Hotel, again, real British names, and told him they were going to get married there that night.
He's having a drink or a coffee or whatever he was doing, and we interrupted him, and he was so gracious.
They invited him to come over and join them for a drink. He politely declined, but said that instead he would pop by the wedding later that evening. Now, in my experience, when someone promises they'll totally meet up with you later, it's their nice way of saying they are definitely not going to see you later. But not Mr. Keanu Reeves. He keeps his promises, y'all. Despite having just arrived from the States a few hours earlier, he stayed up and joined the wedding reception. According to James and Nikki, he posed for photos, chatted with guests, and was overall very Keanu about the whole situation.
And he was just so sweet, just the nicest person.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch some Keanu movies and look for hidden clues about how to be more like him. Or I'll just enjoy the movies. It's a win-win, you guys. If you know of any more stories proving he's the best person, pop them in the comments section.